well? All right. I'm Zak Toscani. I'm not from Portland originally. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, but I've been here for about 4 years. You from Ohio?
Yes.
That was so... You started so high, like, woo, Cincinnati, you from there? Yeah. I guess I'm from there. I love Portland. I don't think I'll ever leave Portland. You know, like, I love it here, but there's a few things that took me a while to get used to. Tattoos were the biggest thing. Where I'm from, not a lot of tattoos. A lot of old people have tattoos. They're not the type you ask about. You wouldn't be like, hey, what's up that tattoo? They'd be like, ship sank. Like, oh, cool. But you come to Portland, it's different. You're like, what's up with that tattoo? They're like, I kind of like squids. It's like, you kind of like squids, you got them on your arm. It's like, well, now I like crabs and trombones and hearts. That's what I'm into. I used to be scared of tattoos when I was a kid. Isn't that weird? We used to be scared of them. Lived in Portland 4 years. Not scared of tattoos anymore. Not at all. I could be in a dark alley, big, tall, bearded, bald guy with a bunch of tattoos. I'm not scared. I'm like, I can talk to that dude about chutney. That guy's got strong opinions on fruit preservatives that are spreadable. That one guy was like, I'll give you 2 claps for that one. I'm not a good Oregonian yet, though. I've been here for 4 years and I don't really travel outside of Portland. I realized this because I was talking to someone who's from Oregon. And I was like, where do you work? And they're like, Mount Angel. And I was like, I don't know where that is. They're like, it's near Kaiser. No. Where do you live, though? And she's like, Wilsonville. I was like, I don't. I know a few towns in Oregon, I'll name them. I know Portland, all the locations of Buster's Barbecue, the Nike employee store. Those are the towns that I know in Portland, Oregon. Everywhere else is just whatever. I don't know. Shouldn't have just shit on a bunch of towns. Are you guys from out of town? Like, he just shit on everyone. I'm sorry. I'm single now. I'm 29, I'm single, and I'm facing that weird like fork in the road where it's like I either start online dating or I just cut off my dick right now. You just have to decide which one's going to be more painful in the long run. But it sucks because all my friends are in relationships, which means my life has never been more miserable because I have no one to do anything with. Like I start with the first tier, all my first tier friends are all in relationships. You guys know what I'm talking about, the first tier, like the 5 people that are like, I'll hang out with them always, and then you have to go to the second tier of friends. You know, the ones where you're like, I have to be really drunk to be with them right now. It's weird. Even my roommates are in relationships. Like the other day I was like, hey, went up to my roommate Greg, I was like, let's go get super stoned, rent tuxedos, and go to the movies. And pretend we're at the Oscars. Yeah, I'm a fun friend. And he was like, nah, Lisa wants to go to Gresham. I was like, why? And he goes, I don't even know. I just know if I don't go, she'll be upset. That's not good. Even my scumbag friends are in relationships. I had a friend who's in a relationship who recently liked Applebee's on Facebook. Some of you didn't laugh like that's a thing to do. You know what? I don't get it advertised enough on Applebee's. I need to let it know. Like, who's the woman who dates that person who's like, ooh, I need a man who knows about buffalo poppers. That's what I need. So single, I go on dates. I don't know if I've ever had one of those like really bad dates. Has anyone ever had like a really bad date where you pretend to get a phone call and you're like, oh my God, my whole family died. I have to leave, and you're like, well, who called you then? Like, no, it's not important. It's never happened. I've had some weird dates. Like I went to dinner with this girl, and she was like, what's your favorite movie of all time? And I was like, well, I need a little bit more time to think about it. What about you? And she goes, Seabiscuit. That quick. You know what that means? That means when she got ready for the date, she's like, I'm talking about Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit. Probably not even the best horse movie I've ever seen. I saw Seabiscuit in theaters, and as I was leaving, I was like, I'll forget about this movie right now. That's what will happen. I was also on an online date with this girl, and I was kind of, talking to her. I had only been doing stand-up for a couple months at that point, so I didn't tell her that I did stand-up. So I was asking about her hobbies. I was like, what do you like to do outside of work? And she's like, I love stand-up comedy. I was like, all right. So I perk up in my chair. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And she goes, but there's a catch. And I was like, what's that? And she goes, I hate white comics. She was like, what do you do? And I was like, I definitely don't do stand-up, that's for sure. I'm not gonna be the one to change her, It is weird. I'll finish with this. I'm 29 now. I'm not particularly bright. I'm not a bright person. You guys were like, yeah, you didn't have to tell us that. It's kind of just figured. But I realized this because I realized that I have white privilege for the first time. If you don't know what white privilege is, congratulations, you have it. I realized that I had white privilege because I was hanging around with a bunch of friends of different ethnicities, not bragging, and it's Portland. I'm bragging a little bit. But we were talking about cop stories, right? Like the worst thing that ever happened to us around the cops. And some of them had crazy stories. Like one of my friends was like, one time I asked a cop what time it was, and he pepper sprayed me. I went to jail for 4 months. And I was like, holy shit. And then it got to me, the only white guy in the circle, and they're like, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you? And I was like, I've been treated amazingly by the police. If the cops were on Yelp, they get 5 stars, okay? I've been treated, it's like the Hilton, being checked into the Hilton when I see the police. Like the one time I was put in a cop car, I didn't do anything wrong, they just pulled over and they're like, it's late, get in. They were concerned about me. You understand that? When you're white, the cops are just your mom with a bulletproof vest on. They're like, Zach, it's late, get in. Yeah, we'll go to Taco Bell. We'll get in the back, you drive, you're white, no one's gonna say anything. The other time I realized I had white privilege was I was legitimately speeding on the highway going to Eugene for a comedy show, not just going there, because who does that? Your town's an open door. Cop pulls me over. I was going like 20 over. He's like, hey bud, what's the rush? And I was like, well, I'm a stand-up. I'm going to do a show in Eugene. I'm just a little late. And he goes, you're a stand-up, huh? You got any jokes about cops? So I was like, just respectful ones. And he looked at me and he's like, you're fucking hilarious. Get the hell out of here. He's like, you're white. There's no speed limit on the way to your dreams. Thank you guys, been great.